Warning, this video contains spoilers for One Piece live action season 3, and for anyone who hasn't seen the Alabasta arc in One Piece anime and or manga, why haven't you? If there is one constant in One Piece, it's that Sanji loves the ladies. One lady that he loves in particular is fellow Straw Hat Nami. Now, to be fair, when you're 1,000 episodes in, it still might look like lust, perversion, or whatever, but there is still that level of chivalry, and at this point it seems to be more about protection and being of service, but there is still that basic level of hope they'll end up together. With that said, Oda has stated that none of the Straw Hat crew will ever end up romantically involved. Probably. Now, at the time of this video, One Piece live action is beginning its second season. While we know it actually ends with Chopper joining the crew, we also know that we end up in Alabasta in season 3. And there is one slight concern I have, and that is Sanji's fight with Bon Clay.
Context.
Sanji fights a special agent who is trying to take out a princess that the crew is trying to protect, who is trying to save a country from destroying itself, instigated by a warlord called Crocodile. This agent, designated number 2, is a shape-shifting devil fruit user called Bon Clay. During this fight, Bon Clay uses a distraction tactic by changing his face into Nami. Now, what I would love to have seen is that Sanji just sees through this facade, but no. Once Bon Clay sees the weakness, he just turns it on and off and on and off and on and off again for comical effect. It's at the point where I just feel taken out of the scene a little bit, much like another fight scene that we all hope that doesn't appear in season 2, because Sanji just seems to fall for it. Especially after immediately before this, Sanji states that a person isn't their face, it's their soul. This becomes an issue throughout the fight. Anytime Nami's face is shown, Sanji submits. He then gets pounded every time, knowing what's underneath. He just can't seem to help himself. In fact, at the end of this fight, Sanji questions Bon Clay why he doesn't just get up and switch his face, knowing that Sanji can't combat it. Granted, there's a whole thing with Zoro's sense of direction, but I also see this on the same level as Disney Star Wars making it canon that stormtroopers can't aim properly. There's just no need for it. Yes, Sanji is smitten with Nami, but I think to add this as something that once you realise what's happening, it's an instant KO potential, it just doesn't make sense. Luckily, Bon Clay was a good sport, and he did actually give up in the end, but imagine if it was, any other opponents had this power. I get what they were trying to do here, but after, say, the events of Along Park and beyond, yes, I'm fine with Sanji simping after Nami to a certain point, but there is that level of chivalry that should counter it and to make him not look like a complete sex maniac, with no deeper level than that. Honestly, I'd be happy with the scene and how it plays out, if only for a very just slight tweak. To fix this scene, I feel it would still be in character for Sanji to be momentarily confused by this. Like a deer in headlights kind of thing, and you would still get the comical payoff, but don't drag it out. In fact, what I'd actually do is, every time Bon Clay changes his face to Nami, it would make Sanji angrier and angrier and angrier, and he'd come out with lines like, "How dare you face my sweet Nami Swan? Don't you know there can only be one of her?" and so forth. I don't know. What do you think? But with that said, there is one other question that I must ask. Would you like mayo with that?